Welcome to the Explainer, where we get right into the source material to figure out what's going on. And today, boy, are we looking at a big one, a really seismic shift in UK immigration policy. So imagine that. What if the path to becoming a permanent UK resident, something you're already on, suddenly doubled in length? Well, a new government plan is proposing to do exactly that. This isn't just a small tweak. We're talking about a proposal that could completely rewrite the rulebook for legal migration, and it's going to affect the futures of millions of people. And this quote, this really says it all, doesn't it? To settle in this country forever is not a right, but a privilege, and it must be earned. That single, powerful line from the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, just captures the whole new philosophy. It's setting the stage for what the government itself is calling the biggest shakeup to legal migration in, get this, almost 50 years. Okay, let's really dive into what this means.
All right, Section 1, a major migration overhaul. First up, we're going to unpack the absolute core of this change. It's a huge pivot, really, moving away from a system that's all about how long you've been in the country to a brand new one that basically asks, okay, but what have you contributed?
So the government is replacing the current system, and the new buzzword you're going to hear a lot is earned settlement. The entire framework is being rebuilt around this idea. Now, the government's official line is that they're trying to create a fair immigration system, one that, actively prioritizes and rewards people who contribute to the UK's economy and society.
Okay, Section 2, the 5-year path to settlement. Now, to really get your head around just how massive this overhaul is, we've got to look at how things used to work. For a lot of people, the journey to settling here was, well, it was pretty straightforward, based almost entirely on the clock.
So take a look at this. Under the old system, getting settlement, that's what it's officially called indefinite leave to remain. It was typically granted after just 3 to 5 years. So whether you were a top scientist on a global talent visa or an entrepreneur launching an innovative business, the key factor was pretty much the same for everyone. The clock, just time. Time spent living and working in the UK was the real key to becoming a permanent resident. Simple as that.
All right, Section 3, the new earned model. Now let's switch gears and look at the new model, because this is where the journey becomes something completely different. Honestly, this is where the rules of the game just fundamentally change. Wow, okay, the first thing you need to know is right here. The standard time you have to wait, it's set to double. The new baseline for pretty much everyone is going to be 10 years. 10. That's a huge jump. And get this, that 10-year period, that's just the starting line. To actually get settlement, people will now need to prove their value across these 4 core pillars: character, integration, contribution, and residence. So you see, just living in the UK and staying out of trouble, that's not going to be enough anymore. You have to actively prove your worth to the country. It's a whole new mindset. Okay, Section 4, fast tracks and long detours. Now that 10-year baseline, think of it less like a fixed sentence and more like a starting point. The new system is actually designed to create these dramatically different timelines. It's like a sliding scale, really, based on who you are and what you do. And this chart just lays out the new logic perfectly. It's basically a system of carrots and sticks, right? On one side, you have people like top talent or high-rate taxpayers who could actually settle faster than they can now. But then, on the other side, the path gets much, much longer for others. A low-paid care worker, for example, could be facing a 15-year wait. Someone who needs to claim benefits at some point, wow, they could be looking at 20 years. The difference is just huge. And when you see it as a bar chart like this, the contrast is, well, it's just stark, isn't it? An entrepreneur's journey might stay at a quick 3 years. But for a health and care worker, that exact same journey triples. And for someone who's overstayed their visa, that path stretches out to a staggering 30 years. I mean, just look at the difference on the screen. So how do you get on one of those faster tracks? Well, the government has laid out a pretty clear list of ways people can actively earn discounts on their time. It's like a checklist of desirable attributes, Pay higher rates of tax, work in a key public service job, show you're integrating by speaking English well or volunteering, and of course, a big one, maintaining a clean criminal record. Each one of these is a potential way to shave time off that 10-year starting point. Okay, and for our final section, a new definition of settling. Because this is really important. These changes go way beyond just the timeline. They're actually proposing to fundamentally alter what it even means to be settled and what rights that status actually gives you. And this
Right here is a truly massive change. As it stands now, when you get settlement, that indefinite leave to remain, you get access to public funds. The social safety net if you ever need it. But this new plan, it proposes pushing that milestone way further down the road. It wants to tie access to benefits not to settlement, but all the way to gaining British citizenship.
So let's walk through this new journey. It is a much, much longer sequence. First, you arrive on a visa. Then, you work for a decade, maybe more, to earn that settlement status. But you're not done. Once you get it, you then have to wait at least another year before you can even apply for citizenship. And that application means more fees and passing that Life in the UK test. It's only after all that, once you become a full British citizen, that you would finally be eligible for benefits. So you can see, it just adds more time, more cost, and more hurdles between arriving here and being able to access that safety net.
And here's the thing. According to the government's own documents, this whole overhaul isn't just for new arrivals. It's set to apply to the nearly 2 million people who've already arrived since 2021, people who are already on what they thought was their path to a future in the UK. So, it leaves us with this really critical question. Is this a fairer system that really does reward contribution? Or is it a whole new set of barriers that just makes it harder for people to feel like they can truly belong? At the end of the day, what's clear is the UK is fundamentally redefining what it takes to call Britain home.